Hey there, a quick video before it starts to rain. These are the potatoes I put in grow bags and pots. They're ready to harvest, and these are the ones that need my attention right away. These are ones that have a longer maturity date, so they're still growing. I have some more hidden away in other places too, but these are the ones that are going to be next to be harvested. This is the backyard. Welcome to the backyard. And that's the herb spiral. I've got one tomato in the juniper bush. I'm using it as a support. These were extra tomatoes that I just couldn't fit in the garden beds. I've got another one in here in amongst the black raspberries. I don't know if you can see, that's the tomato right there. It's either purple Cherokee or something I picked up from the co-op, an heirloom variety. I don't know, they didn't say what it was, it just said heirloom tomatoes. And we've got more tomatoes here. Looks like there's one down there ready to be picked. We're trying something new. Squirrel planted sunflower. Makes a great tomato trellis. I've got more tying up to do this week. A lot of work to do. This is my weed patch. There's a lot of food growing in here. There's leeks. There's beets. That's a leek going to seed. And behind that's a parsnip going to seed. This is red sorrel. It went to seed, and it also overgrew the path, which I've got to take it out of there. Any plant that grows where you don't want it to grow is a weed. And there's plenty of seeds, looks like. Strawberries will get dealt with in the fall. I will actually take all these up and their babies and replant this entire bed after I compost it. Speaking of compost, that's my compost pile right now. I need to get in there and do some weeding and flip it. We were gifted with some sort of cucurbit. I don't know if it's a pumpkin, a squash, just junk from somebody's seed mix that the squirrel planted, but it's growing very nicely in amongst the these plants are horseradish, and I also have comfrey in here. So that's my little junky section being held in check by the compost pile. That's going to be a new bed next year right there. All right, so then I've got the cabbages. We'll take a walk around and you can see them a little better. They're starting to get little better head on them. All right, that's a zucchini bed. I was really pleased that they came back after the cabbage, we had cucumber beetles and squash bugs in there, and I sprayed them with BT and it really helped. You can see there's a yellow squash hiding there. Over here I have some grow bags. These end up working pretty good. I got the idea from the Wisconsin gardener. They started their onions in trays, and I was like, leeks and onions I've always had trouble with. Maybe I need to plant them close together. And I've got one of scallions and one of leeks up here. I think this is a King Richard leek. And those are the ones that you harvest the soonest. The Tadornas and the Bandit variety I picked up this year are longer. They take longer to mature. And so this is my cabbages. I thought that this one here on the end was the biggest and was going to be the first one to harvest, but I've got some other ones in here that are looking like they're picking up steam. I just love this one. So we'll give those another 2 weeks maybe. And there's no rush. We don't want them all at one time either. There's quite a few of them, and I have more in the front yard. So this is a mulberry tree. And lots of black raspberries in there. We think that was a chokecherry tree there growing. It didn't do much this year. It was the first year it flowered, so it's kind of hard to tell exactly what it is. And then we come to, I don't know if I can even get this all in here. This is a raised bed that I made based on the Living Farm. You can visit thelivingfarm.org and watch Lynn Gillespie's videos on gardening. She has some great ideas. Didn't work so well on the hill because all the beautiful compost that I put in on top of the bed ended up in my path and in my raspberries. This is a raspberry patch here. So it just went right down the hill. Go figure. And also, I don't have level ground, which also probably did not help. Let's see if I get up here. That's the back side of it. I have butternut squash and pumpkin, and they did finally recover after the squash bugs. This is a tomato bed. I ran out of cinder blocks, so I took some makeshift wood here to try and pen it in. And actually, this didn't do too bad for holding the soil in compared to the cinder block. I think probably I water the cinder block more, or maybe the hill is steeper there. Hard to say. You'll notice I have these hanging all over. That's to deter the deer. The deer came through here and ate the tops off of almost all the tomatoes. And that is my bed frame tomato stand. And my biggest problem of all is back here. This is under the awning of my garage, so it stays nice and dry. That is a groundhog hole. That was where it used to come out. And then if we go further along, there is one more hole where you can get out. I don't know if we're going to be able to see it here, but right up in there is another hole. And all of this sand-like stuff is an indication of him digging out the subsoil. It's really sandy. The rest of my soil is clay, and anyway, this is the back side of the trellises. These trellises were an idea I picked up from One Yard Revolution. He uses these. He actually bolts them though to his beds. I have mine in rebar, so they're being held on. Of all the things nobody ate the kale, and this was charred this year, which is very perplexing. The deer usually love this stuff. And then I ended up with, and I'm gonna guess this is a honey nut. I had honey nuts planted here last year, and the groundhog ate some of them, and they were just left for dead for compost. So I'm gonna guess that's what this one is, and we're just gonna let it grow and take over, because none of the rest of this bed did squat. I had my potato onions in here, and I've harvested those now. So let this guy take over. And then as soon as I can afford it, I need a pole saw to take out a lot of the way overhanging branches of the mulberry tree so that these guys get a little bit more sun. This used to be a lettuce patch that the groundhog totally devastated. He even ate the seeds. I can't believe he ate the seeds. And the eggplants got hit really hard by flea beetles this year. I'm not sure if they're going to recover. I don't know how long from flower to eggplant, but these don't show any signs of flowering, so I don't know that we're going to actually get a crop this year. Oh, that doesn't look like a flower, that just looks like leaves. So we'll see what we get. Out of an entire package of Armenian cucumbers, I have one vine, and it's not entirely happy, but yeah, I didn't realize I had cucumber beetles till it was too late. So c'est la vie. All the extra tomatoes, got to take advantage of there not being any lettuce anymore. And the other thing I ended up with that I didn't expect is these guys. These guys are Minatina that I planted, oh, maybe 2 years ago, and the seed came up. I mean, they reseeded in place, and they've decided it's a good thing. So I can actually harvest those for salad, although they might be too far gone at this point. I don't know with the heat. But that's what we got. So again, if you like this sort of thing, hit like and subscribe.